UTPA basketball takes the court for the unofficial start of the season. We take you to Bronc Madness. The UTPA baseball team competed in front of scouts from almost every Major League Baseball team, and the UTPA women's soccer team played its final home matches of the season. We tell you why their ending was a little different than for most teams. This is Bronc Country. Hey everyone, and welcome to Bronc Country. I'm Jonah Goldberg. It was a busy week for UTPA basketball. There was a quick trip to Las Vegas in the middle of Spirit Week for the WAC Basketball Preview before coming home for Bronc Madness. And in this case, not everything that happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. Which is good because otherwise we wouldn't know where the Broncs were picked in the polls or who earned all conference honors. Let's start on the men's side, where the Broncs were picked to finish tied for 7th in the coaches poll and in 7th alone in the media poll.
Well, the poll is a reflection really of the past, not necessarily the present and the future. That we're probably where I'd pick us to after our performance last year. And the league has got such a fluctuation in and out that, of course, New Mexico State with their tradition and rich tradition. But then after that, it's kind of a guessing game. A lot of us don't even know who's on rosters sometimes yet. So, again, an indication of the past, but definitely not a designated spot that you have to finish in.
New Mexico State, last year's WAC tournament champion, was picked to win the WAC in both polls, but to hear it from the coaches, including the one from New Mexico State, they're expecting a tough conference, top to bottom.
I like the fact that there's a big dog, so to speak, that everybody's going after, and I like being in that position to be that guy that has the target on his back, and because I think like I said last year, I think we had that, and I don't think we handled it as well as we could have. So you got to give your props to Utah Valley and how effective they were throughout the conference, winning a lot of tight games, and got to give Coach Hunsaker credit for that. He did an excellent job, especially first year in the conference. So I think our overall parity in the conference is something that is going to cause a lot of competitive games, which, no matter what level you're at, when you're having some great competition, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's why you're in the profession, because you love to compete, and that's why you play, hopefully, because you love to compete. So I think that's going to make it fun for the fans.
But this has been probably the most well-coached conference I've been associated with. The teams every night, the guys are trying to compete, and they're trying to do it at a high sportsmanship type level, but really, really competitive. So, we know it's not going to be any easy games. I'm telling you, when you talk about New Mexico State, you talk about the experience that Seattle is bringing back, the experience that Grand Canyon is bringing back, the experience that Bakersfield is bringing back. So it's really good for the conference because it's a real experienced league.
I think it's going to be very, very strong. I think the league is one of the better mid-major leagues in the country. I think there's great competition night in and night out. Some great coaching, playing great facilities, and I look for the league to continue to get stronger and stronger, and to get back to where that WAC tradition and that WAC name carries it.
The Broncs placed 2 on the preseason All-WAC teams, as Shaq Boga earned second team honors as chosen by the coaches, and Shaq Hines earned the honor from the media. Boga led the WAC in steals and assists to turnover ratio last season, while averaging 14 points and 3 assists as the starting point guard. Hines averaged 13 points and 6 rebounds, including 14 and 7 in WAC play, as the Broncs power forward last year.
Well, they both had good years last year, and one of the comments we just talked about in the other room a little bit was, they played a lot of minutes and produced last year and have to continue to do that. And I think with the strength of competition and practice raising, if they can play those kind of minutes, their production will even be better because they'll be more prepared on game night to compete.
And it's those returning players that form the Shaq attack that are a big reason why, despite picking the Broncs 7th, other coaches from around the WAC aren't taking UTPA lightly.
Very good
guards. I mean, with Boga and those guys, they really they gave us fits last year. They did an excellent job of pushing the tempo when it was there, getting into the paint, and they had our number last year. I got a lot of respect for Coach Hipsher and what he does, and I mean, he's another coach that I mean, he knows obviously what he's doing. He's been around a long time, and got a lot of respect for him. So I really expect UTPA to be a team when it's all said and done to contend for everything.
Well, Coach is doing a great job over there. I think that the younger guys that he has on his roster are really talented. We looked at a few of those guys early on ourselves. I think also some of the returners. Shaq, for example. I mean, that guy's hard to guard, man. So, I'm really impressed with what Coach is doing and the reinvestment that the university is putting in. I think if that continues at a high level and the more they have success, then I think that program will grow and be in a position to compete at the upper echelon of conference as well in the future.
On the women's side, UTPA picked to finish second in the coaches poll and tied for third in the media poll, garnering first place votes in each. It's a result the Broncs are pleased with, but Coach Tidwell knows that there's still a long way to go.
Well, the polls, it's always nice to, at the beginning of the season, people pick you there, people pick you there. I think last year we picked 7th and we moved up to 4th. But the preseason picks are nice, but the thing that really matters is, at the end. I mean, what you do on the floor during the course of 14 conference games and a WAC tournament, and that's what you're measured on. It's nice to have recognition, be picked second. It shows that we are improving. People do maybe think a little bit of us, and it's nice to have Shantae Goff and KK Boyd on the preseason all-tournament, preseason all-WAC teams. But it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And that's the kind of attitude we're going to have. We're going to get after it each and every day.
Bakersfield was picked to win the WAC, and Chicago State was picked last in both polls. But there was disagreement between the coaches and media over all of the other spots, which speaks to the parity that this conference may boast this year.
Probably Cal State Bakersfield in Seattle. Cal State Bakersfield is very, very talented. They probably have one of the best players in the conference and very well coached. And of course, Seattle's always going to be there. Joe Bonvicini. So I see that. I think Texas Pan American is going to be very, very good. They could be the sleeper. They got 4 returning starters, and they're very athletic. So I think it's a very competitive conference. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
I think in the beginning of the season, a lot of teams are going to be feeling their way through, as a lot of teams did lose a lot of players on their teams. But as the conference goes on and as we go through the non-conference, I think everybody will pick up speed, and I think it'll be a very exciting and a very competitive conference.
Competitive-wise, 1 through 8 is going to be it's going to be very competitive. Each and every game has a chance to be very, very close, very intense. I mean, you start with Cal State Bakersfield, they're picked first. Then you go to Seattle. Seattle Jones always going to have great teams. And then Kathy at Utah Valley just does a great job. She's got some players healthy, got some back. She had a good young talent in the kid from New Zealand, a big post player. UMKC, Freeze, is always going to have competitive teams because she's such a great coach. And then you skip over to New Mexico State, Mark Trek, excellent coach. We used to coach against each other. I was at TCU, he was at USC. We have a long-standing relationship, and it's always a very competitive relationship with him. Grand Canyon State, Trent May has just done an unbelievable job. So, again, you look at what everybody does in Chicago State. Again, they're going to be I think they're going to be very competitive in the league because they had 3 kids setting out and big kids, and they've had a lot of success in the past. Not maybe last year, but they do a good job there.
The Broncs landed a pair of guards on the preseason All-WAC teams, as shooting guard Shantae Goff was a first-team selection by both the coaches and the media, while point guard Kaylin Boyd earned second-team honors from the coaches. The reigning WAC Freshman of the Year, Goff was the Broncs' top scorer last season at more than 13 points per game, while shooting nearly 40% from the field and behind the arc. Boyd was among the best in taking care of the ball in the WAC, ranking second in assist-to-turnover ratio, while averaging nearly 11 points, 4 boards, and 3 dimes per game.
I've been coaching 38 years and been fortunate enough to have quite a few wins and championships, but during that time frame, I've never scored a point, never had a rebound, assist, or a steal. It's about your players, and I love to see players get recognition, and those are 2 that deserve recognition. And I was a little bit disappointed. I thought Brittany Bush might be on, somewhere in that mixture also, because she had a great year last year.
Goff, Boyd, Bush, and the rest of a large cast of returning players, in addition to a strong recruiting class, are no small reason why coaches around the WAC think the Broncs are poised to make some serious noise this season.
Well, obviously, one of the best players in the conference and freshman, Shantae Goff, she was a heady little freshman last year, and, I don't think anyone saw her coming, but, now she's a known commodity. So, I think her role obviously changes this year with her team. Obviously, anytime we, play UTPA, we know we better be prepared for, full court defense, a lot of up-tempo play and a ton of athleticism. So, we definitely know we got to be ready to play when they show up or we show up on their home court.
Well, you get 4 starters back. Larry Tidwell's a very experienced coach, just a great coach. And, they got Goff back, who was a freshman of the year last year. She's a very difficult matchup. They've got a very, very athletic, lightning quick point guard, good front line. They got a couple of big kids they've recruited, so they'll get some height along with their athletic. And not only do they have athleticism, they can shoot. So I really think they're one of the top teams in the conference, if not the top team in the conference. So they're a fun team to watch, and they're going to be a tough team to match up against.
The WAC Basketball Preview also gave us the opportunity to catch up with WAC Commissioner Jeff Hurd. Commissioner Hurd is in his second full season and third overall as the leader of the WAC. We discussed a variety of topics, including the state of the WAC.
We're in a growth period. Last year was year one, this year is year two, and I think as we look forward, and generally speaking, I like where we are as a league right now. I like that our board of directors, all of them are engaged in the conference. All our athletics directors are engaged, and I think as we move forward, we still need to work on the growth of the league, not only in terms of the competitiveness in all our sports, but growth in membership. We need to grow in that area. But it takes, it's going to happen over a period of time. And as we go into the 14-15 year, I like where we are as a conference, and I like what our future is.
As for what Commissioner Hurd thinks about how UTPA has integrated itself into the WAC and its ability to host a conference championship, that story next week on Bronc Country. So we've talked about the Broncs on paper. Now how about on the court? Next on Bronc Country, we take our first look at the basketball teams at Bronc Madness.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential.
We compete on the field with integrity,
on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Ball, the right wing, goes for the tie.
And he does it again!
Nolan straight to the hoop.
Ties the game!
With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in!
Jack Mulder from half court! Broncs win! Broncs win!
Get your Broncs basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABroncs.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Every October, UTPA holds its annual Spirit Week with events all over campus leading up to the unofficial start of basketball season, Bronc Madness. An overflow crowd of over 2,500 fans had their first opportunity to see the Broncs on the court. Each team took part in a green and white scrimmage. There was a dunk contest won by Janari Josar and a three-point shootout won by Shazay Wright. Student organizations also had the opportunity to take part in the annual dance competition, won for the second year in a row by the Filipino Student Association. And while basketball is just weeks from opening night, baseball season is still months away. Despite that, Broncs baseball had one of their most important days of the year last week. Jenny Galindo has more.
Determination filled the air as the UTPA baseball team had their chance to impress at the next level. From the comfort of their home field, players ran through a series of drills with the hopes of catching the eye of a scout well before their season begins.
I thought it was okay. Struggled a little bit early, but it got better as it went.
I think I was a little more excited than nervous, just because it's a big day, you want to do your best.
The UTPA baseball team has been fortunate to have players noticed each of the last 4 years during the annual Scout Day. Coach Montrana had nothing but high expectations as the Broncs gave it their all on the field.
You know what? Overall, I thought that they did well. We haven't faced a whole lot of live pitching. Our pitchers haven't thrown a whole lot of breaking balls because we've only been in the fall for about 2.5 weeks. But overall, as a group, I think they did very, very well, and I'm proud of them.
Emotions were high at the end of the day as players look back at their performance.
I mean, all of us, we've just been working hard all fall, just trying to get better and better each day. I mean, we worked hard all summer. Everybody out here wanted it.
For some players, Scout Day could be their break into professional baseball. For Bronc Country, I am Jenny Galindo.
Normally, the participants in Scout Day are limited to current Broncs baseball players. But with a full contingent of Major League Scouts in attendance, one former Bronx star came back looking for his chance in affiliated ball. Melinda Garza has the story.
Marcia! Atta baby!
The race was on to catch the eye of one of the 20 scouts in attendance at the UTPA baseball stadium. Endurance, dedication, and passion for the game is what drove the university's finest players to showcase their best skills. Among those players was Vinny Mejia, a former UTPA baseball player.
Ultimate goal here, as a baseball player, is to, try to get to the affiliated level, and get to the big leagues. So this gave me the opportunity for affiliated scouts to watch what I can do, and it's just another opportunity.
Mejia, who played for UTPA from 2010 to 2012, has been dominating the independent minor leagues the last 2 summers and is currently with the Avon, Ohio Lake Erie Crushers. He took part of this year's Scout Day for his chance to be seen by Major League Scouts with the hopes of making his dream of playing in affiliated baseball and one day the big leagues come true.
It's a good time for the scouts to come out, and the guys will perform out here, and then the scouts get an idea of what players they want to come check out during the season and whatnot.
Typically, Scout Day is a chance for players to get on a team's radar, but for Mejia, it's a chance to get signed. While Mejia felt he could have played better, Coach Montrana said Mejia has always been a good player and thought he excelled at what he's always been good at, batting.
I thought Vinny did well. One thing Vinny can do is hit, and he was the only player today to hit 3 home runs. None of our players were able to get it out. It was not an easy day to get it out today.
In the end, Mejia believes that a person can never be perfect at everything, so working hard is a key to success. For Bronc Country, I am Melinda Garza.
Final home matches of the season for UTPA women's soccer, but no goodbyes being said. Coming up on Bronc Country, it's not a senior day. The UTPA women's soccer team dropped its final 2 home matches of the season to 2 of the top teams in the WAC in Utah Valley and Seattle over the weekend. Now, when most teams play their final home match of the season, it's usually a day for honoring the senior class through speeches and gifts. For the inaugural UTPA women's soccer team, however, it was something different. Jennifer Galvan has the story.
If you pass, you have to move on. Senior Day is a tradition all athletic teams share at UTPA, but for the Bronc soccer team, it's being done a little different this year.
To be a starting team of freshmen, I think we're handling everything pretty good, like the games, and we're learning as we go, so.
Having no seniors doesn't pose a problem for this Bronc team, which is made up of mostly freshmen and a couple of sophomores and juniors.
The girls are more united now, and each player has a sense of leadership, no matter their classification.
I think we came together very well, and I think, the natural leaders just kind of fell in place.
We're going to be able to grow up together, and it's really awesome. I feel really united with all the players.
The first women's soccer team has surpassed people's expectations, despite being a young team.
Well, I think we have a mature team, and obviously we're going to have some moments of inexperience that are going to hurt us, but for the most part, we've dealt with that situation very easily.
The team is having a successful first year, currently sitting at 8, 5, and 4.
We're able to create something completely from scratch and set our own standards. And I think that's really important when we're looking to build this program to a WAC championship.
For Bronc Country, I'm Jennifer Galvan.
On to volleyball, and it was Bronx against breast cancer last Thursday for their match against Chicago State. Proceeds from pink t-shirt sales benefited the Doctors Hospital at Renaissance Cancer Foundation, and there was a huge crowd on hand to support the Broncs and Dig Pink. The opening set was tight most of the way. Tied at 14, not anymore. Alicia Watson gives the Broncs the lead. And then the next serve is not coming back. Ace Maria Kleefolk. Move ahead, it's set point, and it's all elementary, my dear Watson. Broncs win 25-20. The Broncs led the second set wire to wire, and on set point, tell me if this looks familiar. Watson finishes the job. Broncs win 25-19. After the Cougars take the third set, the Broncs thoroughly dominated the fourth set. This kill by Anjanae Janda makes it 15-4. And then, on match point, it's Haley Durham. Broncs win 25-18. They win the match 3-1.
Everything was flowing well. You know, I started off a little rough, but our passing got better and everything was flowing, and our setting and our hitting, and we just took off after a while.
You know, we finally found some offense. We really struggled passing, which, you know, to get the offense that we did off of, you know, the passes that we had was good. Kind of noticed that a little bit yesterday in practice, but you know, we'll get back to work tomorrow and smooth that out a little bit. But you know, it was good to have some offense from a balanced group. So, you know, we've got to continue to do that. That's what's going to be successful in this conference. You know, you've got to be able to hit the ball and you know, and block the ball.
Just 1 week left in the Bronc Athletic Fund Drive. You can become a member of the BAF for just $50 a year. All of the money raised goes directly to student-athlete scholarships, so visit BroncAthleticFund.com today to see how you can make a meaningful impact on the lives of student-athletes.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
On the court with respect.
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
The ball on the right wing goes for the tie.
And he does it again!
Nolan straight to the hoop.
Ties the game!
With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in!
Jack Mulder from half court! Broncs win! Broncs win!
Get your Broncs basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABroncs.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Here's what's coming up for the Broncs. Women's soccer hits the road for the rest of the season, starting Friday at Bakersfield and Sunday at Grand Canyon. Volleyball is at the same two teams, although in reverse, visiting Grand Canyon on Thursday and Bakersfield on Saturday. And women's tennis closes out the fall slate at Texas State, also on Saturday. We want to thank you for stamping your passport in Bronc Country this week. Schedule another visit for next week. But until then,
Go Broncs!
They are the dreamers and the promise of the future. They are the hope who will lead us to tomorrow. They are the givers who have the passion to serve. They are the visionaries who will celebrate discovery. They will make a difference. They will change South Texas.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
On the court with respect.
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
The ball on the right wing goes for the tie.
And he does it again!
Nolan straight to the hoop.
Ties the game!
With 3, with 2, the desperation heave goes in!
Jack Vogel from half court! Bronx win! Bronx win!
Get your Bronx basketball season tickets now by calling 665-2221 or logging on to UTPABronx.com. This commercial is brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics.